Yes, Ghana for Abuabi Akakraman, Ghana for Semenica catcher say, oh, Bia Sabekana Ketua, send an Abatoye, Esitia Ghana for Nana Jam Twa, and a Ghana for and pay Wobu Bom Rob say, and the end is na down for pa, Edumegu, I must say, one no, a much in a power, Nana Jam Twano, Abanosono, and now which Ketua, na NDC for a wicked, NDC for the coupons and what's in the one name say NDC for Ebe Hadri say Uncle Wanyam Kwasia Campion day. Amaragavo, Semenica Gacham, Namuka say, hey, co position, and as a more yet, I say NPP, I'm what did him Gavo, Nana jump on the SCSU, Abu Pomo radio station, a radio station, another TV station, Gavo, I just said, we have here Nana Jantua, say Nana Jantua, yeah, Nana Jantua, say what Yan Tim could do Jantua, or bad what Yan Tim in a Gavo, AFENYO, say because Nana Jantua, no, did you end easy for I feel Papa, yet the man, no, yeah, the man, no, almost you go one another down for business, or TM. I want him now. Ganavo and Nasa Gotua. Nagana for what we say, Sammy Jemfi, what fresh case for Crabba. Messe, Course say, Sammy Jemfi, Dabra Cassia, Jimmy on. Who Cassia, who Pamquasiano, Gana for Mebru, efficient, I bet you, Ganafo, Course their money, butu. Now, Messe, AFENYO market also, a be a secret to be a Ganafo, self secret in the better on them. Secret what dia PM pa and interview no kweno secret what dia PM no afreme hu say hey mon kan kire we have friends am dey say what you fa gidigidi e mekata e kana abodo zo no ye dey ense wo be dey obekọ Ghana for wo dey menye dey kranporo bi ko bo video no amonya bia hwe na ye ko no ye be break it down no ya ye dey hu kobo it best say and no first time na wo hwe videos a channel ni the voice of NSawamtv Voice of NSawamtv. Send no first time we videos. No one like, no one share, no one say comment. Notification baby, banana send me also. Say by anytime your voice of NSawamtv new video tomorrow. Once I submit my day. I can be Ghana for messages and one share a many pattern, mammy. Any political platform be ours. Ghana for Mummy Uncle Hey Nana Jantua. Abuabiaka Krama. Ghana for Kramet, Yamo, Kramet, Ghana for about was also Mummy Uncle Hemra.
Amaga Casadruno. Asheta Amagan and Yason Faswa, but ye enfino, ye gua jumano. Nana me catch us a me me business partner me consult mano. Me business partner me consult mano. Our ye fertilizer juma. Our no ankasa na juma na oye. And no sika no retire and no de over $5 million. Aqua share fertilizer industry mu efenipa 400 ebi yebia no pa enwumre we are buying a quotam MPP are buying time bi NDC are buying time bi yentua ne campaign problem se si akra ya se gu adwuma na ma se si ameka say me papa ne tifie me businessman na efenipa 400 no wa yiwo mu nyina di aka nipa miensa factory no for 1 year almost 8 months ni aban we buy ya tum ama chese me kwa na makoma ya me ya hwe ye kan si a wonti ase meni ya na brand me ka wonti ase ebi nkan woda adwuma fa nipa 400 asa 400 no ebi wo yire ebi wo ma ebi wo abusia enti sa sika ne se etuom ka bosom ya omu benya so mfaso no NDC and the NDC say adwuma ne se si aka aban de ne sa to so ama papa na ebre na me mpese me body because kasa
yes Ghana for me matuma ba ma ba omia na meluzu was what would the MAHAMA as we break your heart here sway Ghana for me see say o kabo NDC for HND before and I want me that ai say ye ni jide bia wa ba ni mu enti ye no enye ye wanwa ana ye wanwa NDC for ye wanwa mo amutimu won jide wo ye first MAHAMA mu aye kwato abani wi ana mo to nkwase anyom aban papa ba esum faso no ade na musu aban papa ba afi ade na musikafo me se anzo ha o mumie kwatie KOOSE se KOOSE de no nso otona ba ma wo mo but se no de ohunya nsantem eti KOOSE se debi wono NDC for muntimi tutu anoma ho emfa metre ye friend say Ghana mebrufo say e de anoma ni KOOSE so jan enya asem ketua e de egu sami gemfi so a ho e de egu ye friend say ya sami gemfi so enya asem ketua kra Ghana for ansa me bo ne ke de tira so de ama no wo de mumie ko tie we ni we ni ye tie wi a ye bedi hu kobo mo de mumie enko
NDC government wo mu bu yam Ghana youth for ni say ye jimi wo mu fire say yam ye jimi ye nim nyansa sister nyankwasesem enyankwasesem sister adenti na NDC government ni be fire mo Ghana youth ni say ye jimi NDC government na e da wo no wo mu afa yam Ghana for ni say ye jimi and I will give you the reason why wo mu afa ye say ye jimi submit em fia ba bonten aba be ka say we use 1.5 years and they generated $17 billion from good board keto. Aye sami demfi. Aye good board CEO. Wa ba bontia ba be ka kire Ghana for say. We use 1.5 years and they generated $17 billion from good board. And the ama Ghana or mine. Fine, better. Nyankopon sira sami demfi. What check I President John MAHAMA ni first coming. Emma no ye president. For obey president 4 years. Now what check I come say dear no obey president 4 years in Eddie Bomo 8 years. At that time, one more bob here $20 billion. And a one more the teacher of mine. Okay, fine. And a President John MAHAMA the second time away. What you Sami Demfi as a good board CEO. And as Sami Demfi ababon ti abeka say, we generated $17 billion. Upon 17 billion in here, upon 17 billion na Sami Demfi say, what generated from good board to Ghana for upon in here. And this government is womu kwa besia. Womu kwa besia. And the above stop double track. At the same time, education minister at first na education minister say one more pay 1.5 billion at the project one nibi and it woman to me for teachers dodo it is 17 billion na Sami Demfi eka ho asam no 17 billion we hefa question me be say NDC government no 17 billion we hefa because we say we first coming. When you shoot 8 years, Kobo be 20 billion. So what the Baba to your mind? Now we second come away. Sami Demfi was generated 17 billion from good board at the amount of mine Ghana. Abanisada wo sa so akwa be say me the Baba bu o mine. Abanisen and NDC government say one more kwa be to stop double track. Abanisen Ana ato force ni babo ntin beka say sika ni ho. It won't me yes sika from education minister. My young teachers ahodo. Ebane say up to now, bossa mo say Ghana for. Yensan kan. 24 hours economy yensan kan. Ayi sade kan say Women's Bank yensan kan. What's so promise? Farmers for so obetu omu kokom up to now what koko no so it to NDC government in fire said then NDC government na da ho no all fire said then we are the end of ni here wo ba be ka tell say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and visionable leader Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Fatah as a president but one who Fatah as a president no upon sika Sami Demfi so generating here ti wo kwa kopetika foforo wo kwa bob said the atechiro mine dia then adentina ho ba be yo mampahini e wo Ghana simple send this communicators and say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on deserve as a president na wabon na wo president no deserve as a president no Sami Demfi generated 17 billion over 1.5 years the amount na still na wo kwa kobo besia e dia betechiro mine dia then yet to my Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia man be president Kenya sa wom bebre because on ground one may say or the policy about policy in the generators. Almost that Germany party.
And they say minya botre etimidi eyi nsemano. Nipa bia you are defined by your response to an issue, not or reaction to the issue. And yes, I had the NDC, no. Nipa ne ye dia wa ye. Now you are very much well defined by your response to it. Obi anem eba mikura constitution.
Yes.
Na constitution obi uji tum say eye niema mienu pe. Die di kan e create state. Ene ye de to so mienu. E kire aban tumi a obecheche e de ama various arms of government. Na state aye kan obi. Obeji atum say the Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Responsibilities of States. E kire say ye ka state e hia niema enan. Die di kan ye wo mu pa na say there should be a definite population. No wako government, no wako territory, no wako capacity to enter into relations with other states. But the one here kese pani a definite population because ye ma utumia nipa na udi begin so.
Yes.
And nipa na onona ma utumia na oka article 1 clause 1 of the constitution or say sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana. Ye na tumi ni ye dia. Ene di bia ma wo say kona kodi yesu. Enti se timemu ni baako ehun fumsuo bi ana se bibi tochima ana onti bibi ase na obusa wa na ese wode ahobrase eyi ano enya kenie soafo hwe gold board so CEO ye fe no yera samijemfi abotre wate edieni accountability is an incidence of holding a public office into wo de NSF and said nipa no kura busa question na ye very much damp enhu hia se wodi natem Ateni any part of our orientation as Ghanaian people. Yeah, person, I am a friend of that chicken in the items out. Onya butre or china be wo and ya praise him, or china near two receipt. As who any party receipt and call phone so calculated this receipt. The Ghanaian people are asking you a very simple question. Say IMF for say a kebia ba. Betchrem and ya was ya. As simple as that, and say, IMF AYEKA, mini Adwa Christie, our tear say, only my IMF yet in 1944. Yet in 1944, on the 20th day of September 1957, about 6 months after seeing independence, and a Ghana by Mum Penny for so I had the IMF. Me mammy and Casson Mumfayanko IMF. But Yenya to Obama by Nadia, a biny bedi Juma. Successive government from NPP, NDC, Obia Wedi Abayin Subiano, any about IMF, Edikasubum. In fact, NPP Ajebesia, NDC Ajebesia, and now many workers say cry exit IMF program. Yadnian and TSA, NDC for crying your massa, assign other agreements, I find a policy coordination instrument. Must IMF for no form of Mranti or technical expertise in Nimfam woman. And this IMF for Corona, Debia Woko Jebesia, or what did you want? IMF for Monte Dome. Omonte pokuyase omonte ye fene se kokomlemre ha no wa wo so wo krata nyina de command wa America ho e ma ne hwehwem no say odeka ana wa boka as simple as that. You tell us that ebia eni me krata mu we mu krata mu boko ye say power corrupt and absolute power corrupt absolutely ye rasa me gemfie sere wa buru nya botre wate ne abena o say asare ne wa fe no abie wa no wa kansem say poor woman di ma me natem Aden. Some are many bonny and see a sick about Wakabi. AFENYO marking crowd wakuru say Poto. What is happening in this country? NTA Musa Zembio. Ye who are the Musa? Obi. Share Bank of Ghana Suesika.
Or say busa the neck nowhere to address the issue. Let read the report nibo obiding. I don't know and I would Danny Adiana Ban.
And no make catcher say even when the person has granted Krasu with busa a mistaken question. Una wants me, ye be a to me amount. What prevents you, say, Boko, say, Abusia for the okay, and you're no correct. It's a book way so. I do dini panate manza. Entity a bano. That in any. Hey. Obi minya sure say na what here so be by ascribe say no e obi the obusa na question aju wadi watemanza na where you are no. How much more why ye dey to etia woka. Ye boni ayaye wo wiase ne say ye di ye to etua woka na ma utumi no wasom no aju di atem and so no respond to issues. Who brought this kind of orientation in this country? Ada money by na esi. Problem na any Bank of Ghana tam $11.7 billion e the amount. Sefa koto good. That is an established fact. Ukasa munyina also wakoto ewie wo baaye no. Wo de $10 billion and abakruma. And that's how the biasami figure. Meaning there is an excess of $1.7 billion loss. So Bank of Ghana and the terms Kanemawa, certainly it will sit on the account. Nobody is disputing that. But the description on the IMF report it say, so if somebody refers to you tell us
that description is not
no,
the way you put it.
No, please.
The IMF categorized Niomede loss number.
That's GOV'T activities is it not part?
What it states, David. What it states is service charge and assay fees paid to Gold Board. And Gold Board's argument has been said that cannot be a component of the laws because in the agreement PMMC now Gold Board ebeye agent no e wom say auto gold ne premier I'll pay you a service charge. And why do you put that as a component of a loss on Bank of Ghana way and then mention say Gold Board ETS can man? That has been the argument.
Whichever be the case. Sikano ya tebiri edi amount. Wodi akodi djuma. E kaba ho. Whether it sits on your account or not, it is incumbent on you to explain to us.
To explain.
As simple as that. Don't insult. But Obi $1.7 billion. And actually you convert it to Ghana cedis, 22 billion Ghana cedis. But I want to say, Sikase no we now they establish a bank. We have 400 million. Divide 400 million Ghana cedis by 22 billion Ghana cedis. You can establish 55 banks with it. 55. Bank maku adionum 55 baako kra ye maame vice president ko se ho bo te ho penten kwa wayera maana hwehwe na omu
de hin no
women development wo de obi fa wa fidie ekosi krom fa command kasim dwom na mbo ochira e busa se na maane bu afu. So when this loss is there, in fact ask yourself obi wona eye wo company and you bought this hooping eka we aba, ask yourself say wouldn't you even ask questions to reduce it or even stop the said business?
Sure.
You do that.
Sure.
But does it amount saying so didn't part them? But someone said does it even warrant so we didn't part them? And you see the conversation about any Gold Board books so a way books so into the anti-kamai.
A kaba.
Into me and can want them.
I will say a come.
And yes, diatem.
Dabi.
What is happening? This is a car, a calculation. You get 55, establish 55 banks. Ask yourself, yeah, establish 55 banks. When him se press a pref we benye juma. When him se press a pref for them. NDC food soldiers run omunya a jumano. These people are even one open. Make them say MPP for they say come the opposition. When call for nanka say good for one comedy omono. You if you establish these banks, you can employ them.
Yeah.
So why do we do this to ourselves? The real issue is say a Bank of Ghana $1.7 billion. We must pay for this eka. Now when bet ya
Ghana for any bit.
In fact, as I'm working the Oko Kebi Krana you penny create some our patch. And Neil and Tivanda I look at it and I read in the letter no. I was Sunday patch also on one correct medium vino. Or some patch on I look at it with pity. You know why? A bedu baby so rasa medium fear and yabotra. One way obepi obeyo hina sebi bibi tanechi enya eya de bone nso di kuro mu bia be suru so be ka kire no nya botre. He may be very intelligent.
Obi foresee Neil Anteno part.
And obi asem we what be da. Say Neil Anteno nkasa nya botre akotena city say abrantie ye me boy. In fact, I think about August 2018 or chair the campaign. No. Who campaign or the national communication? Me na me chair. What kasem me feel say. In fact, the next one feel we diatem. I tell you, say this way you can communicate better. In time apologizing on your behalf. Ya kwada sorry ya Neil Anteno Jonah asa actual letter say asem no kind of one. Now we be ade we situ argument.
Wan kasa asem no kind of.
Also pan ho chew. Also pan ho chew. Now pan ho chew enya bua na bua.
I say be on no akwada ye no.
Obi. They will be a reasonable man test.
Yes.
Kona kwada na hwe video na Neil Anteno. Oka na asem ni wie. Se obi adi atem wagina public platform na oka kire ne se asem na oni afenyo marking enya adwea. Kan hu se enya afenyo marking nko a na wona na ekasa. In fact,
oni Ghana fo nyina.
In fact, enya oni Ghana fo mpo oni efutufo mpo pe na ekasa. Oni efutufo population. Consider nti ukasa no wan kan yi me patcho on your behalf na Ghana mu anya yenteto ya ne se adi adibuo be ya adwuma na nipa no your friend a few minutes later wasan be tro krata aba bonten say chew pa na me pa ne me sa epa ho chew mumi anya abotrew na mmere yeni nkaso tumi nso saa ene ne etwe nkofo ai asrama nkofo nam ekọ yioko ebayo o kine bi the time the tables may 10 ebia wo eteni a wo betwe seat no bi atwe na o to asifom enya abotre
Aaron entry bebe na fen alampan.
Yes, Ghana for muma memre mu kakra Ghana for nokra mo hwe ade samijamfi kafa afenyo ne ye friend say ye maame ye friend say abra o say asare Ghana for mo amhwe ye wo de yemfa agronto nche mo amhwe ye on Ghana for de me mo wan say we samijamfi say kwotama asore dem abompa asa awura ne akopon Ghana for asofofo mo nka bibi nche samijamfi na de o ye ne nye Mom here no kwa so Ghana for aso me see ene afenyo before kwase me bo ye friend say KOOSE ne Kevin Tila de na abetom sesi ano afenyo so esa de me see esa afenyo no ho no sa Ghana for me see en wo yi ato na aposo no me see woti a wa ha hu sa me jamfi obesi ne so uhu sa me jamfi a ubesi ne so sa de no me abokasa na asa bikutu o Ghana for mu de me kwoti ne ye ko ne be den ye be break it down ne ya de ye di hu komo yes me say me hu adwenkyere e wo comment section ho no wasa sha ma ni pattern a ye de ama me yes share me ni pattern any political platform bi a ye de wo so bi a share ma wo me da ase
God boss story no
Enjo.
any say
Enjo. Onini.
ha plaza me bo
Kwame onini.
plaza
Ma wasi mayan kana onini.
anti honorable
Meka washa wa horoba na onini.
the big
Ma
issue
tu page no. Kwame mpocho ma music and mankan. Na mwi a memfa mo. Kwame mbom to be fair. Emi me a politician. Ebi a metwa akohwi. Enti mpocho won fa ma Kwame. Kan afo wo di kan na wi afabra.
where ye IMF
Thank you.
International Monetary Fund Ghana was selected issues
Correct.
na one Eddie Free International Monetary Fund Washington DC
Thank you.
date no August 2026
Yo mpocho area minority for reporter.
there be
Kwame kan brofo no boko.
what's it
Enjo.
Canadian Yababo lottery was now the numbers.
Thank you.
In 2025, the significant scaling up of DGPP operations led to losses of over $1.7 billion.
Billion what? Aha.
That is 1.5% of GDP.
Right.
Almost entirely related to gold for reserve. All purchases. This amounted to a loss of 17% of the value of all gold sold by the Bank of Ghana. Losses accrued on gold trades are a combination of service and assay fees paid to gold board.
Emphasis.
Okay.
Kwame, emphasis.
Mate, meka hobiem. Was say
Jet Ghana for muma memrem Ghana for document na we ka no tikesi e ka no Ghana for enye minority for the enye MPP for the IMF report no so no NDC for samijam fimoni NDC for finance minister e de koma IMF no eno ne ye ka kire omu say NDC for strategy omu yusu omu wa Ghana ha omu sunko omu kwa broche omu sunko say the covid ne ba ya na omu ka say omu wa Ghana ha na omu say na akufu ado na ama covid na ire economy na ire asay no a omu kwa broche de omu say covid yare no aka Africa nya na ama Africa economy na ire asay no the same thing omu ye no ha no Ghana for mo de mu ni asumpa mi ntie ne ye na mi hu adwenkyem na sa share me ni pattern na sa de we hu nti no ana sa nkwase afo de mebo Kevin Tila de actual rough Jimmy no ene samija fi Jimmy no kwase ampani Jimmy fo a wo anya tetefo no a wode ne ho akọbọ Jimmy fo party no kan sem afenyo markings no Ghana for hwe afenyo marking ni dimi na wode te wo no ahombrasie ni NPP fo de wonimade wa bon mo sa wo sa brand ho ase papa kasa me jamfini nya etise we ya afenyo markings a wo di bread say afenyo markings ka mo hwe ade wo de ba okuma ye papa sa me jamfi wa bodam gana fo mi enkotie mra na me hu adwenche share me ni pattern ma me pa chawo
amounting to 17% of the value of your gold sold by the BOG. Losses accrued on gold trades are a combination of service and assay fees paid to gold board.
Continue.
Discounts on gold sold to off-takers, that is exporters, and most importantly, exchange rate losses from the spread between Forex Bureau rate paid to purchase gold and the CD reference rate used for BOG accounting. That's figure 7. Survey data suggests that Ghanaian ASGM,
That's artisanal small scale gold mining.
prices are among
The abbreviation or your artisanal small scale gold mining.
Next is
Right.
Gold.
Right.
Moon, okay.
Right.
Are among the highest in the region.
Right. So it means that in West Africa, yen artisanal gold na in yet ton, it is the most expensive. Yet ton abozin ne area yaboko. And it's a AYEKA the minority no a church azim na AYEKA there. One ton gold in bokao, na gold board aton gold abokawa. Assembling kodo.
These accounting losses partly reflect valuation effects rather than economic costs.
Stay there, Kwame. So what this means is that the argument by government abandoning Chemi there is always an economic cost to implementing an economic policy such as this gold purchase program. No, it's not correct, because per this audit by IMF, with government ajatum. By the way, just for clarity, anytime IMF does a report, it shares the draft with government for government to express its own views as to the issues emanating from the report. So what I want the public to know in there, this final report is what both parties have agreed and signed to as the final conclusion. Right. So from this report, the IMF is saying there, the gold for reserve program, or the domestic gold purchase program, has a structural design defect. What the report is saying therefore is that the policy has failed, and the losses are not as a result of economic costs. That's why they stated it in black and white.
Yeah.
So you cannot even argue that the IMF was not fair. The IMF was fair. And the language of the report, per what we all know in governance, is agreed by both parties. So you have been indicted as a government for failing in such a key policy. So if you tell me that, oh, your justification is that you have brought in so much forex in the gold trade, and that has resulted in the stability of the cedi, your own report is indicting you that no, you had some inefficiencies in the program.
The honorable when gold board naboka na BOG naboka.
This question, you have the answer. What is the answer in the report? Before I come in with my explanation, in the report, what did the IMF say? Yenna yezi nukwarama iraze in Oman Ghana. What you just read, IMF attributed the losses to which institution? Mpocho.
You command gold board.
Sir, can you other ones into Munkoso Kwame?
Gold board.
Can you na want it?
Osre, ne se kankan no ode sre NDC presenters no ba ko no we mu jandam osra no pa eto twabi eto besi omu radio station so a jandam pa o sa de etwe NDC no on timi nhana mmoso e magana fo entini ye o sere Ghana for mummy and Quatuaso, the real baby hunkobo, Medasi.
What's you?
No, but I'm can ye as some Canada
gold board.
It's all I'm in America.
Aha. But
wait, Kwame Pocho. Is it me who is saying it?
Debbie.
So must I be insulted? Or do be Shamahoba? Make us some out to bido. Miss Obinizin Akot to Pardo there, one shana hoba. Is that not the report? Is a minority lying? Is any serious institution making fact check in this country going to tell me that the minority is wrong? What is the IMF saying about the losses? Are they not attributing it to gold board? Are they not attributing it to the entire domestic gold purchase program? Are they not talking about the forex losses? Are they not talking about the exchange rates? Are they not raising the pricing? Kwame, let me add another point. When gold board loan was here, there were two things given to gold board as a mandate. One, a regulatory function. Two, a monopoly function. And I will explain. Make a regulatory function. Gold board now was established by an act of parliament. Regulatory function you there. And one na artisanal gold. Yeka artisanal gold. Yeka the small scale mining. Funi nyina Gold board is a embra, a regulated one. So that is the law I have passed. Second, embra no so say obi biara or your small scale mining biano or your one institution in a or do ton no gold in the moment or your gold board. Kwame. So anybody selling artisanal gold will sell that gold to gold board because by law gold board has the exclusive mandate monopoly over the gold that is mined under them artisanal gold mining subsector of the mining industry. Now you're not argumenting there. To that extent, one cannot say that Sebio losses no gold board on young one because all the gold from the artisanal mining sector no or your own and say one farm forward. Now say Ebekaya, when the minority first read the interim report of IMF, Bekaya the last year. Was it 10-year disclosure be your first report, the 5th review no? This report is a 6th review. 1/5 review no was stated there. There were some losses up to $214 million. When we got hold of that report, we filed a motion in Parliament. You file a motion no. You're not argumenting there. Even the fees were just too high, and immediately you raised the fees as some, which was 15%. BOG and Gold Board held an emergency meeting and reduced the fees to 9%, and later reduced it further to some 5%. And now, after the 6th review report, Bank of Ghana says it is exiting the program entirely. Kwame, we raise this issue as patriots, as part of our oversight. The parliamentarians say omanu bibiru kocho na yen yanka wana bi on obaka na sefu pia we school a aben say a minister no say oni clearance finance ministry say there fiscal space ahonzi nyi ho meanwhile through this gold for reserve programming you've incurred such huge losses. You needed only 6 billion to employ some nurses and teachers. Musimu need 6 billion. Yet 22 billion has gone down the drain.
My question and say, gold board for no, a Bank of Ghana for an amount say, Munto gold my
mukwa munton say fees ni anyama ewo mu say we so mu fantua we eti me gold board no se me toni nyina nam de koma Bank of Ghana pe de nhya wode ama me no a samfumso bi ba wo de bra me gold board say na enkofo bisa se auditor general's report no so no kan se Bank of Ghana na se kan se can say a gold board.
Okay, Kwame, that question, no, the latter part of your question, already you have the answer. That in the report,
the report, okay.
From the report, you know, your answer, so let's not repeat it. Now, let me come to the main question. Main question, na no bisa wono. The answer lies with government. Kwame, I am not responsible for policy implementation of government. I'm in my opposition. If our bank not introduce a policy, your duty is to put in place the guardrails, the mechanisms for successful implementation. When the policy fails, you take responsibility. So at this point, I don't want to get into the argument where somebody will say, oh, why are you not blaming World Bank? Why are you not blaming BOG? Why are you blaming Gold Board? Why is it that the losses are in the books of BOG? So as for Gold Board, say one come. You see, that would be amounting to mischief. Why? Because there is a complete structure, a value chain of transaction. You have traced the transaction to where the error, the defect is. So, maybe a defect in one, that should be where you hammer. Yes, it is true, and in all fairness, the report, it was Bank of Ghana that IMF audited. Yes, it is true that the losses are in the books of Bank of Ghana. Yes, it is true also that the losses are attributable to which institution? Continue for me from what we read.
Yeah, to the Gold Board.
Yes. Now, in all this structure, Bank of Ghana for Sebi, and one of what artisanal gold Ghana. No.
Well, one mammy said, say.
So what I'm saying is that Kwame, to make it simple, no, it's a government policy failure. Okay, it's a financial loss to the state, true or false. The loss is on whether you mention Bank of Ghana or Gold Board, you are mentioning what? A loss to the state. Because Gold Board is a state institution.
I was not to every month is profit.
How do you account for profit? You account for profit by deducting costs of sales from sales. Anna,
yeah.
The mischief there then is that the cost has not been captured there. The cost has been offloaded to another institution that is a subsidiary. Kwame, let me ask you a question. From the report that you have read, which you are still in possession of, the losses have been identified in the books of BOG, correct?
Correct.
But the losses are being attributable to which institution? Right. Now, Kwame, I haven't know about the Gold Board there. No, I told you one man. I apologize. No, yes, in common, Kwame. These are reputational issues. So, Kromano, Yenina, the baby, I've been on pen. Asamano, baby, I no corner that no be actually introduce a version B. So, I want us to have an exercise that I will leave here with satisfaction there. I've been fair to the people of Ghana. I've been fair to the government itself. You yourself, as a journalist, as a media man, if anybody wants to question your fairness, you will say that, come on, I did the Lord's work.
No crasama AFENYO kanye. No crasama AFENYO kanye. No crasama AFENYO kanye. What done what time for na Ghana? I said we had the AFENYO markets. Ekayo. Sa no prowe adoka no me nyina hu se same jamfi aboka Ghana for na ka obo no o hwe na yire bag sa me jamfi ayire bag o yusu a $33,500 and something dollars. Dollars, yo, where are dollars? Donald Trump dollars. Now, so Sebi, Accra was so what Tom was your bag. Say, Edema or Yerea, a better won't gold mock emoka. A better won't gold emoka. Therefore, when a Becca Sammy very new to second mine, what did AFENYO market at terminal? Your friend say, Ralph, Jimmy for net, Kevin Jimmy for any AFENYO market at terminal. No more, and this is for most alcohol. Say 2 million means a movie trim. Would you make Ghana for Mummy and Quatie? Na mommy whom I venture so AFENYO markets room. Who say, the real demon and the risk comporting or city or no. Among the quantum politics. NPP for actually so many million sapa. It's Ghana for me who adventure as an Akoboka in Cheddar, so in some form or kind natural. Ghana for Mummy Camera.
A year NPP for Sammy Fia Boka. Remember, time NPP were power from 2021 to 2025 onto Gold Board Parliament Ejitum Somuyejuma. Omoboka over $400 million. That time NPP Yebusa almost added a Gold Board. Other than PMMC aboka, almost say a Bank of Ghana na aboka. That is what Baumia AFENYO market when San Kwasiafu kachre. That time now PMMC boka over 400 million in the name say Omuto Gold ma Bank of Ghana no. Baumia NDC MP for kachre say sa e kana over $400 million no. A Bank of Ghana na abo na enye PMMC. Intima me yembe blame PMMC, yem blame Bank of Ghana.
Ayena se Kevin Taylor at in the TV station ho. Na or kasa as a journalist. O free say kasa na okano. Nyansa wo mu amebi mbada. But no nim say kasa na okano. Nyansa ba kokora nim. Na Jimmy no Jimmy. And I will give you the reason why you Jimmy and no Jimmy. Nyabotire na tie mi. She video we magana ni bia na Ghana ni bia hu ne kore. According to Kevin Taylor, or say under MPP government Aya PMMC eboka and a PMMs for say enye woman na womo aboka but I Bank of Ghana for and a womo aboka one womo ya adwene and a one womo nya adwene me ni PMMs for aya adwene 100% say enye womo na womo aboka and I will give you the reason why enye womo na womo aboka. 2021 a minimum MPP ewo government no and a Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at the policy be by yes, our policy no. Your friend PMMC. Sa PMMC no. One more Juma and say. One more back sika or Bank of Ghana ho. Now one more diako minor sectors. One more diako to gold. At the Abre Bank of Ghana. One more right to say one more better gold. But one more new right. Say one more better gold. Underlie, woman new right to say, woman beton gold. At that moment, a PMMC for at the Bank of Ghana, Sika, at the aqua to gold. Our minds at the Abre Bank of Ghana, no. PMMC, one more Juma into who as a Bank of Ghana, who what said the say. Gold in a PMMC for a quarter to talk at the Abrono. Make sure say what ton gold no. And your profit was so at the Abro mine Ghana. Because sanke PMMC a bet me a tons I'll go drink a 1 month and 1 back ton. Now one more could generate at the Abro mine. Because of woman need right a woman de tongue and a woman tongue. Okay. And a barber told you say. PMMC for aboka esidena womo boka obia owo right to gold boni right otono esidena oboka why na eboka aye Bank of Ghana na eboka because when a wokoton ye e na wabo sa aka no enye PMMC e na ekoton ye na womo abo sanke PMMC no womo right womo de ton a na ke womu be make sure say gold na womu koton ye no womu koton womu be nya profit e simple and short womu ni right ntina womu de ma Bank of Ghana nti at that moment a Bank of Ghana be koton gold no e be boka no enye PMMC for na aboka eye Bank of Ghana na aboka what you are not ton chen ena NDC government aba ena sa policy na Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia asset to ho no ena NDC government aba besesam wa besese PMMC edin no ena waye ni good board na good board no wo mo asede ne say wo mo right say wo mo bet to gold wo mo saso wo right say wo mo bet me aton gold. What would the two difference between PMMC and gold board? PMMC one more right say one better to but one more new right say one better. Gold board our right say one more better. One more the same right say one more better. Gentle aso. And a gold board wakwa the Bank of Ghana. Sika no the akoto gold. And or the abre Bank of Ghana. And according to IMF, Ediaba betu just say gold board aboka me so NDC ni bana obeka say enye gold board na aboka na ye Bank of Ghana na aboka metimi aka che say NDC ni say owo mental problem because say we were right say we the bet to gold na we were right say say we ko ton gold na mfa so ba so na wantimi an ton gold ma mfa so amba so na we the gold in the akwa akoma eye Bank of Ghana manako ton ema ekaba there then wo good board in say me blame because when I wo call market na wo toy na wo hu how wo be si aton no but because of wo right obetimi aton nti say one kasa wo call market ho na wo ton to generate money and bring to Ghanaians period it hadn't in a good board akọ to gold or right is here to gold but wo saso right is obetimi aton but wo wan kwanko ton e na wo dia kwakoma Bank of Ghana na wakoton na waboka obi ebe me good board because wo right say wo de ton nti adenti na wan koton na wo dia ma obi so nkoton abrema nipa kro no kra any idea of price or de koton ye nti kasa na AYEKA bintela eka no e kire se nyansa ba ko kura nim wontimi compare PMMC any gold board eto esase ton PMMC eto bontimi ton that is the two difference it wumpo according to IMF gold board aboka enye Bank of Ghana na aboka point of correction it we kra na ekere se kabintela oni nyansa na adwene wo fom se kabintela na adwene ni fom a se kabintela adwene ya adwuma ana na adwene ni fom a so babo nti beka say hey good board waboka because we right award it all and I was as we right award it all what I say it waboka and your Bank of Ghana na abo one wabo so far as we right award it all na kese say we kwa na ukoton na we generate sika kan say we be mo obi so nkonkoton.
Yes, KOOSE yenya udeni uyebwe KOOSE yenya udeni uyebwe Ghana for KOOSE essay see the way acheche so what you say na Kevin Tira de Ghana for message woni nyansa ko be se Bawumia ene AFENYO marking omuni nyansa che John Dramani Mahama AFENYO message AFENYO ne Bawumia omuni nyansa eche Mahama ni nyansa anko bia koto gold aboka ka ada so to hwe no ana KOOSE acheche mu achere no na samose Mahama no so nyansa mu NDC for bagana for ni se Mahama onim nyansa eti he ka betira wajimi papa AFENYO market ne Bawumia ni nyansa 100 times echen your friends Mahama abuwa bi ba Kevin Tira kwasi ampanyu Ghana for mon share mame na mi tie nkofo be se na makoma na ebom kum mi tie na me kama adwen ache me ke masa wo misi ubu Mahama yesu ebu Bawumia eti se na be kam ya kire Mahama no wo be kam ya kire Bawumia no yesu be kam ya kire Mahama no wo de we sitie simwa jimi a se Mahama ni nyansa akobi to gold aboka mo de ni awe no amone se edi atam wo da so hwe no kwasiafo mo jimi mame papa Ghana for mon share mo bibia nya binya dai ensanka why obi ne obi bibi no obi abe obi bibi o se de wusi di ba omia o di ba omia na afenyo market atem no esu di ba o mahama atema mahama wonye nipa nchen ba omia dara for mun share ma me das hi mahama wonye nipa nchen ba omia it is a wugiri se mahama wonye nipa nchen ba omia na mesre wo no atwa say yes mahama nye nipa nchen ba omia na wo abedi muma jama mu kwasiafo no edi ba omia atem na fa no adi wudi ba omia atem du yesi be di mahama atem du mahama nye nipa nchen ba omia woni me ya adwan no atwa comment section say yes woni me ya adwan gara for mun share ma me das